Alrighty. Hello, hello. Hopefully we're live. Let me just make sure. Alrighty, hello everyone. My name is Sheshire, the devil's not so funny jester, currently talking to the body of my cat Grim. And today, we're back, doing some more drawing. Let me just finish putting out my tweet there and some notifications, and then I'll plug in the other screen. But for now, I'm just going to set up and have it live a little bit so people can trickle in, but hopefully you're all doing well. Just put out my post. So today we have a couple of different things planned. For the most part, just doing some drawing, but also going to talk about some things I have planned going forward and all that sort of jazz. Let me copy this. I feel like at this point I need to just put out a saved or like a standardized tweet that I can just repost every single time, but the way I do it, it's specific, where I usually change the name depending on what time of the week it is. It's not like I'm one of those people who has the same name every single time for every single stream, so unfortunately that doesn't really work. Let me pick a photo. I'll put myself up here for now. There you go. I'll be sitting right in the center for a little bit while we wait. Okay, you know, I'll just do a picture of SQUCHAN, like what we were drawing last time. I did a little bit of work on it by myself, but nothing crazy. Okay, add the image, and we'll go live in a second, then I'll talk about what we're going to be doing in a little bit. So I should make sure that we're live both on the blue and red sites. Say that like you don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, is red live? Red is live? Good, thank God. It's been working fine normally, I don't know why it wouldn't be. And purple site is good too. Great. Let's hop back to OBS. I'll put on my post. Hurry up, Sheshire. Okay, Weird Cat Wednesday is what I decided on. We'll do more SQUCHAN and talking about plans. I'm going to reply underneath with a link because apparently I heard Twitter hates links. Which I mean makes sense because if you're trying to get people to leave the platform, it's going to avoid pushing those because it wants to keep people on the platform. So it makes sense. So we'll just put a comment underneath and then have the reply of the links. It's nothing crazy to worry about. TV/Sheshire NB. I like that Twitch you can just type it out, right? And the link automatically pops up. At YouTube you have to do the whole goddamn copy and paste thing. Okay, now my tweet's out. I don't know if I should start posting on YouTube too when I go live or anything else, but notifications should be there. I'm just finishing setting up. Okay, now I can plug in my screen and we can go back to drawing. But yeah, hopefully everyone's doing well today on a Wednesday. A little bit earlier in the day. I mean, sorry, I know I said I might have streamed yesterday. I just got a bunch of work done instead, so decided we'll just stream earlier today, right, to make up for it. I won't do later on in the day and make you all wait. So we're going to be doing some SQUCHAN, right, like we were doing Monday. But I also want to talk about what we're going to be doing forward. So Friday, my plans for that. And then also going forward over the next couple weeks, maybe even a month, what we're going to be doing, because I do have like a big thing I'm working on, and it's going to get to a point where I need to work on it as much as possible, and I don't want to take away from streaming time, because I still want to stream. But it won't be the same as what we're doing necessarily now, because I won't be able to give as much context. And it may or may not be about people or like characters or shows that you do know. It'll be something like you haven't seen before. So I mean, I'll still be able to stream, it just won't be necessarily like the Fashion Fridays and the Military Mondays that we've normally been doing. I'll still try and do that to some extent, but I have like a really big thing that I want to finish. Let me move myself back to the side. No, stay there. There we go. Keep that there. Okay. And hopefully the volume's alright. Now I can share my screen. There we go. Droid cast. Da, da, da. It's okay, the technology's finally making sense to me now, right? It's only getting easier from here. Da, da, da. Should be up in like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay. We're back with some more of this. SQUCHAN there. Move. I have 50 million wires all over the place. It's getting irritating at this point. Alrighty. So, we're going to be working on this today a little bit more. I think the tentacles and that sort of thing, I can probably get the sketch done. Right? I did a little bit more work. I just added some like underlying colors so I know what I want to do with the hair and that sort of a thing. And other than that, I added like the jacket and like the tail. But that's really about it. Right? And I realized I actually did have a reference on my phone. But I'm an idiot, so I forgot about it, which is fine. You know what, here, let's go to the sketch layer. And we'll do some work on the tentacles there, and then we can do the outfit. So I might tone down the volume on the music. I don't know if it's loud on your end, but at least on mine it is. It's being a little funky. There we go. Locking myself in place now. Okay, Grim is stuck. I'm not going to be moving him across the screen anymore. And I also may or may not try and upload my profile picture to Twitch Live because I updated it on most other things. However, for some reason Twitch just won't let me do it no matter what. On my phone at least, not on mobile, but I could try while I'm on my laptop. Twitch just hates me. I don't know why. It's decided that it doesn't want to let me have any fun. Okay, now the tentacly thingies. Purpley, swirly stuff. Right, that all makes sense. Now I don't necessarily know what we're going to be doing with the tentacles. I'll sort of just kind of randomly up the sizing or change them as I go, but that should be okay. Little bits and bobs there. Maybe add a second one down here. I'll make the actual brush a little bit bigger, and I can always just make it smaller from there and refine it. This way it'll be easier to track the actual different tentacles and stuff that are there. Okay, so I'll have one like that. Also, sorry, I'm gonna be tilting the screen. I know I didn't mean to try and do that less. So long as I'm not like 360 flipping and rotating the screen in every direction, it should be okay. But it is easier when I tilt it. Now then, would I have like a little kind of swirly there? Maybe. Maybe I do. Just like a little tentacle swirl sticking out here. And we'll have it hooking back like this. I feel like the good thing about Skew, at least with her design, is that the tentacles don't necessarily have to be the uniform size all the way around, right? So I can have like the little edges there, and then they get massive towards the end, so the sizing doesn't have to be consistent, which is fine. So it doesn't matter if I draw something really, really tiny like this, and then the ones further down are ginormous. Okay, I'll erase that. And then I'll add like another one here, because why not? Now I don't know if that interrupts the flow of the tail. I mean, it shouldn't, right? Like just a little bump like that. We'll make it as small as possible to not interfere with the tail. And I was debating if I'm going to have one wrap around the leg, but I feel like that'd be sticking out too much, so I don't know. Right, unless I do something wrapping around here, like the back leg is what's being grabbed. Like maybe I could do that. Okay. So do like a little one here. Erase that bit. Also, hopefully everyone's doing okay. I know Wednesday is kind of a weird day of the week. It's not... I think I grew up having people always tell me that Wednesday is the worst day of the week, because it's sort of... like, it's not Monday, you didn't just start the week. It's not Tuesday, which is like... where the week really sort of begins. It's not Thursday, which is almost the weekend, or Friday, which is basically the weekend, and then Saturday and Sunday is the weekend, which is fun. Wednesday is kind of just an day, always. I just think Wednesday is usually like a boring day. Okay, do this here. I might need to refine it a little bit because I feel like I'm just erasing what I'm redrawing because I have the brush set to way too big. There we go. And I mean, as we progress with the sketch, I can actually start to refine it, and then I'll just use this as a line art instead of having to retrace everything. So I should probably, you know, start to try and clean it up a little bit. Okay, so that's one tentacle. Just have, you know, like more tentacle stuff arching out this way. This whole section is just going to be tentacles anyway. I have like a little one there. Right? Now do I add a little one and then have it so that it's flicking up in front of the tail? Like a little tentacle there? Because I feel like that interferes with the flow of the tail. Right? But it would also help with the 3D effect. So if I had a loop here and then had like the big tentacle pop up in front of the tail, maybe? Or I just leave it the way it was before, right? Technically we don't have to stick the tentacle there, but... You know, we'll leave it for now. Right, the tentacle we can always decide on later. Why don't I do some of these ones back here instead? Actually, weirdly, it's almost like drawing like a nine-tailed fox sort of a thing, right? Because you have those tail physics where they're all popping out from the same spot and they're all kind of wrapping around and on top of each other. So with the like tentacle-y space cat stuff, it's pretty similar. At least, you know, I think. These ones are just a little bit more goopy and less fluffy, but it's personal preference. And I know I keep twisting the canvas, that's unfortunate, but we're just gonna have to deal with it because I'm a weirdo and everything is flipped halfway sideways when I'm drawing. Okay, And then we'll maybe wait a little bit longer, and I'll talk probably halfway through about what we're going to be doing Friday, because I do want to get relatively close to done this. And even if we don't finish now, I just want to finish by Monday. Because I feel like, if I say Military Monday, right, it only makes sense if I post it on a Monday. So even if I finish it, let's say tomorrow, I feel like the theme would just be thrown off if I posted it on a random Thursday. It would just be weird. So we can still work on stuff, and then that way I have something to post Mondays. Because I had like a little other doodle I did for Smugglana. We added already to her military page, but I feel I want to be more consistent with doing proper drawings, not just like scribbly and sketch stuff, so I want to try and focus more on posting that. I mean, obviously y'all can let me know if you want to see the doodly stuff too, but I just find something like this compared to like a doodle would do better. Or at least people would enjoy better. Because like I enjoy sketching stuff and it comes out really, really scribbly, but to most people it would be like very cluttered or wouldn't make too much sense, so it's usually better if that way if I just wait to post the finished things. However, the funny thing is, actually, on YouTube or even TikTok, when I post stuff, half the time it's the ones that are, it's like the midway through when I'm just drawing like a random 3-second clip of me sketching a back or something. Those ones do great. And then I post the video with the finished thing, and it's like, meh, we liked it better, and it was a couple of scribbly lines on a page. Okay, maybe, so we'll erase this bit. Have the tentacle bit going there. Something like that. It's behind. I need to remember that the dress is there. So let me draw this bit. You know what? Maybe we can talk about it. So Friday, I actually had planned where we might be doing like a character reference sheet before we do any kind of drawings, because any of you who don't know Smugglana, sorry, I'm having a stroke today, I'm dyslexic basically. A Frostfire fox, let me pull up their model, like this one, the military sketch we had done. Right, or what am I doing? I have it on the same app. Right here. Like that stuff we did with Smugglana, or this one here I've done as well for her fire model. So she's a fire and ice fox, right? VTuber. And I had thought, what if we do the other elements? So like there's ice, and the other one was fire. So what if we did like an air and an earth Smugglana as well, and we do like a reference sheet for it, right? And then that way, it's not like I'm posting a drawing of stuff that I'm making out, because I don't like headcanning VTubers, especially if it's not like their official designs or that sort of thing, so we'll see, right? And if they're okay with the designs, then we can do an actual drawing, because I had thought of like an electric Smugglana too, or even like a plant one, or like a diamond one for Earth. And then we can draw some more of that. And then I was thinking, the next military Monday thing that we're going to be doing after SKU is probably going to be Kitsu and Rosie again, because I feel like even like this thing, the Let the World Burn post that I had made with the two of them like that, I feel like it just wasn't the best quality, and like I could have done much better. So I want to do one of these bigger zoomed in ones like I'm doing with SKU for them. No, that is just a random thing. We are going to go back to... Where'd she go? Where's SQUCHAN? I had her here somewhere, I swear to God. There we are. Get back here, SKU. Okay, back to the tentacles. Or maybe work in the dress a little bit, right? So then that way I don't confuse what I'm erasing around here. comes down to here and it'll fold upwards like that. And then kind of pleat and fold out this way, right? I don't know if it's a pleated skirt or more like roughly, right? But I think either or works. Erase this bit. Unnecessary scribbles. This part is going to be shaded, right? I'll remember that. Just add a little bit of gray to it so that I remember that this needs to be shaded and darkened. And then we'll erase this bit. I'm kind of pulling the physics of this out of my arse. I don't really know necessarily if it would look like that in real life, but we can use our imagination. Just pretend this is totally how it would work if somebody was falling. I mean, I feel like that makes sense, right? Lower half flowing upwards, and the other one would be like flying down and then sticking up a little bit at the end, like this, with that arrow. I feel like the easiest thing to do is erase most of this and then add like dots of gray in the spots that I think I will need them afterwards. So like this bit, this is mostly going to be shaded, even like a large amount of this here. I can add a little trail like that, and that's just to show me that the end is in front or like coming up here. There we go, and then that bit's going to be underneath it on the bottom. I don't know if that makes sense, I think it does, hopefully. So we're going to erase this bit. Remember that all of this underneath should be darker because that also needs to be shaded. Right? I mean, we'll have to erase it after when I'm close to done because if we're using this as line art, then it's coming through, but I'll just make a mental note, right? Remember, chat, this needs to be shaded. And we'll erase that bit. And we'll just smooth out the edges on it. Go something like that. No, God, no, that was way too much. Oh God, okay. We'll smooth this out some more. Erase this bit. Like this will make sense, right? Like that's where the top or the edging of the skirt will flip over. And then thin out the lines, clean them up. God, no, why do I erase too much? Oh, it's because my brush is set to the size of the equator. And I don't want to use a preset on the brush or a favorite setting because that way I can adjust it. If you have a favorites on the left side, anytime you try and do something a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, it'll just automatically change back to your preset size. Which means if I need to make finite adjustments, it's a pain in me arse, so I'm not going to be doing that. Instead, I'll just have to remember to constantly switch my brush sizes. I like doing the things the hard way, if you couldn't tell. Okay, what if I had it flip up like this, right? And then we had that. Okay, what if we dip this a little bit more? Sorry, I'm making a bunch of groaning noises and not explaining what's going on in my head. Dip this, and then we flip it upwards, right? And that way we can create like a ruffle effect. I'm thinking. I see. He says the blind man to the deaf wife, but that's okay. Right, like that. Some gray, because this is going to be shaded. It's fine. And then that way, if I have this, I can make it roughly. Like that'll fold down. Maybe. Maybe not. Am I Delulu? A little bit, yes. But that's okay. Delulu is the Salulu. See, there we go. That sort of makes sense. And then I can erase this. No, way too much. Smaller eraser. Erase this. Right. And then have that come from further up. I don't know why I 360'd the canvas. There was no reason for me to do that. I'm so sorry. I don't know if that works. I feel like I said that every time, and then we end up with a 30 minutes, or 30 hours in my case, on the same little tiny area, so I'm going to avoid doing that today. I don't want to waste y'all's time. I don't like my time being wasted, so I'm not going to waste y'all's either. No, I need to just arc it up like that. I don't know what I'm doing. Arc it up. Back it up, like this. Does that work? And then we'll have the dress like a little bit headed this way. Say, but then in that case, do I want to add like a ruffly bit here, right? Because if you're introducing ruffles, you would have to continue it throughout the whole thing. So I don't know if I should just go for pleated instead. Yeah, you know what? No. We're doing the pleated look. That's closer to what SKU has anyways. No. Pleated. Ignore me. I was a crackhead. Twas for naught. No. Ruffles doesn't work, especially because it's military. That doesn't even make sense. You also might be saying, what military is wearing a skirt? Well, good question. But I feel like a pleated skirt is more businessy than a ruffly one anyways. So I should probably straighten out these lines then. Have them look more flat-ended, right? Like that. I mean, they're kind of curvy just towards the end, but they're mostly flat. And then erase this bit. Does that make sense? I feel like that makes sense. I feel like a lot of things make sense, but then I'm completely wrong, so hopefully for now that's okay. And then that way, you know what, we'll do the leg. this little leg here. We'll just sort of clean this out, erase that around the little strap. And this way it's not just kind of like a scribbly black mess in the background, I can actually see it. Tidy up the little tail crap here. Gonna erase this bit. I don't know why the coloring, I decided to just take a chunk out of her tail, but that's okay. It's not actually coloring anyways, I just threw in some colors so I know that what was what. And then I was thinking actually white gloves instead of skin, because I feel like gloves is more military. I don't know, I'm putting my hands in the air like I have no idea what I'm talking about. So you have white gloves and the black hat would be like a black military coat. And then I was thinking of doing like a gun or a knife on the thigh holster. I don't know necessarily which would be more, but I feel like that's definitely military, I say. I mean, what if we did a stream, right? I'm gonna post it, if I did, I would post it on my clips channel, not my art channel, so I wouldn't bother any of you. But if we did a stream where we actually studied fashion, right? We just took a bunch of notes, looked at some fashion references, and I posted that. And like clips or on some other format. I feel like at least that way, I'd have some stuff to draw from, because I did sketch like, throughout my entire life. I've always sketched military themes, but I feel like even just going forward, we could do like fashion studies or anime studies. Like I plan to do that for shows. What does the show's art style look like? That's spoiler alert. Over the next couple of months, I'm going to start doing that and posting that to one of my channels, and then redrawing characters in that style. What if we did videos where it was like fashion, where this time period or this region, what that looked like? And then I could, whip it out as a reference too. Because I find I don't have anything on my computer right now that I can pop up to show you guys. I draw tons of military. Like that would be a more recent one. I feel like that gives off military, but it's not historically based on anything necessarily. That's just kind of pulling it out of my arse. What are some other ones? Like those are references for it that I looked up, actual military photos. But I feel like it would be fun to just, even if it was just military from anime, whip that up and draw some of those, sketch them out so we had like a reference sheet we could go back to. Okay, so back to the tentacles. Focus, Sheshire. No, it was the leg. Don't let me get distracted. The leg. I swear to God, I have the memory of like a god, and then I come to stream and I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached. Alrighty, we'll erase this stuff. La 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 la. I have to remember that that's the thigh, so just leave that line there. Okay, erase this bit. That's just more straps, sort of a thing. Okay. We should have the leg, maybe. What did I click on? Oh, that's... Get rid of that. Some of the leg can be pushed a little bit forward. Because then I don't want to be too weird when we get to the knee. Let me look at the time-lapse replay just to see. That way I don't completely screw up the leg anatomy when I'm erasing. Flash forward to... Okay. Right. No, that's just what the leg looks like. Okay, I see. That's fine. erase this bit. It's just funny because at the angle it looks a little warped, but it's just because it's getting closer to camera as it moves further away, so it's relatively consistent size across the whole leg, which is just funny. We'll add some knee there. A little bit with barbiturates. Erase that, and I feel like this band is sticking out way too much on the top half, so I can bring that in a little bit. I have a warp tool. I don't know why I don't use this warp tool more. And that way I can just warp it up like that. Ta-da! It's like nothing ever happened. Except this bottom part of the strap, because that's irritating me like no tomorrow. Need to angle it so it looks like the leg is coming up and it's 3D, but I also need to remember to erase the bottom part to make up for the fact that it does stick out a little bit, right? Like it goes around the leg. Does that make sense? I feel like that kind of makes sense. Maybe, for the most part. There we go. You know, I can arc it, a little line like that, carve it out, so it looks more like it's going around the leg. Or just add a bit of gray. This works better. Tiny bit of gray. Not that. Tiny bit of gray. And that lets us visually see that there's like that little ledge or little surface on it. So it's not flat. Okay. And you zoom out and you don't even see it, so I don't know why I bothered with any of that, but still. Now then. Do I erase this bit, or do I decide to expand the leg? Time for the time-lapse replay again. Let's go back and see if I could see what I had in mind. Okay, that doesn't help. You know what, we're gonna erase those scribbles. And if I did something wrong, my past self can travel in time and strangle me. Yeah, that works. It's fine. I said it's fine, chat. Stop panicking. Just turn it down. Erase this bit. Okay, then again, the top part is poking out way too much, so we're gonna have to fix that. Like that bit there is relatively fine. Right, like it's circling back, that's okay. And then if we trace the leg, knees at least, they're gonna go through here. And then that way it comes out like this. Okay, so we'll erase the excess. It is gonna be a little bit arched, that's just how legs are. Tracing it like this makes sense, but okay. Then we'll just erase the inside. right? Like that was just so that I know where it sticks out. I feel like a lot of people don't do that, and then it doesn't make sense when they line it up. They just figure, well, you know what? Draw over your drawing, who cares? You can erase the inner stuff anyways. And then at least that way the leg will make sense when it's sticking out. Erase that, that's the kneecap. Okay. Continue to erase the lines. We'll get rid of that tiny little bump. Get rid of that little bumpage. And then I can erase this. I feel like, I don't know, should I give boots? I feel like combat boots would be the best thematic decision. Erase that. Da 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 da. It's fine. Erase more of this. And also, if there's anybody that's into, you know, gaming more on that side versus art, I did try out Deadlock for the first time the other day with a friend of mine who invited me. It's actually pretty interesting. I'm not a big MOBA person, like League and all that big stuff I had never heard of, or at least never played. Like I'd maybe seen it once or twice. That was all incredibly confusing to me, but Deadlock made sense. It was like Marvel Rivals, but League, if, I don't know. I'm a big third-person shooter fan. Sorry, a big third-person shooter fan, because I played Splatoon back in the day, right? All three of them. It honestly kind of reminded me of that a lot. Okay, erase this little bit, because it's making the leg look like it's curving. Also, don't know if I should have the kneecap sticking out a little more. You know what? Why not? Live deliciously. Or vicariously, whichever one you so choose. No, I'm trying to look at my own knee. What does that look like? If I have it bent. No, if it's bent, it's not really stuck out all that much. You have like that okay. Never mind. I've looked at my knee, we had an official reference. More like this, and then shabam, shabam, shabam. Erase that, you have that segmenty bit, and then this part gets erased. Or at least we'll bring it for a little bit further down, because I feel like the leg lengths don't match up. I know this one's a little bit further in the distance, just compared to the camera, but we want to make sure, because there's like that little height disparity between the two. That's not an eye, that's one of those distant measurement things. Okay. Da, 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 da. Erase more of the leg. Also, if you hear me humming or singing and you're like, oh my god, my ears, just let me know. I'll stop. I find myself humming a lot, but I know I'm basically tone deaf. Also, we're gonna see if this time works or not, right? Still kind of experimenting. I'm gonna try to keep consistent after this weekend, basically. We may or may not go back to that 6 p.m. EST sort of a time slot. That usually works pretty well. But I just wanted to see, because sometimes I get people at this time and I can't make the other ones and vice versa, and I just kind of want to give everybody a shot. Okay, so we have this little erasey McThingy-majig here. No, way too much. That little erasey McThingy-majig. Because if you had your leg, it would bump out here, or at least your other knee, and then it would bump like this for the quad, and then go down that way. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we'll just erase this and carve it out a little bit. God damn it. I can put the boots on afterwards. Okay. Am I making the leg too fat? Maybe. We'll do that. There we go. We'll just thin this end out. Because, yeah, most of the bump, or even the calf, would be behind this leg here. So there's no reason to show all that much of it. Erase. Be gone, thought. Nope, I erased way too much. God damn it, Sheshire. Okay, now that that makes sense, I can finish some of the outline on this. There we go. And then now we can go back to the tentacles, I think. Like they're relatively large for the most part, but could add like a few smaller ones too. Also, I never really figured that out quite, but is it... They're probably coming out of the back, just looking at it. Or they're magical and the anatomy wasn't thought about, but I feel like they're coming out of the back there. Because there's no way they're coming out of where the tail is. Because you can see them all over the place. Okay, so we'll bring this out. This little big tail thing here. Slightly bit, we'll add a line, just like it's bending this way. You know, this one can be a little bit bigger. Make that line thicker. Like that, right? Does it bend like that? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay, you know what? Or we just have it go like this behind the tail. They arc this way. Have one go like this. Doesn't really matter how thick it is, but go like that. And then we'll have Do I want to have the lines? Perhaps not. Erase this instead. There, we'll have the tail sticking. Well, the tentacle, not the tail. The tentacle's like this. And I don't need that little kind of edge outcropping thing there anymore. Just a little bit of gray, so I know that this is probably going to be on the darker side. And do I want to add another smaller one there? I feel like I could kick up with one, right? Like if I started here and just shot like a little small one. Curve like that. You know what, let's do it. Add a couple different shapes for variety. Erase this bit. Now it looks a little messy now, but I assure you with some color it'll make a hell of a lot more sense. So let me just make sure that everything is still A to go, right? We're still good on the red site, purple site. Yes, everything's fine. Good. I'm always worried that it's going to shut down, but it hasn't. It's been like weeks since I reset OBS and everything crashed, and that we've been good ever since, so hopefully, as I say that. There we go. Everything's working again. Hallelujah. Okay, I don't know if this should be like another little tail here coming out. I don't know if I should have like a little scoopy one there. Or if I should keep this all relatively curvy and then just have them start to scoop towards the end there, like this side. Right, like that's when the little ones start to curl. Because I feel like the flow will make more sense this way. Right, like the little tiny ones towards the end, those curl, and then all the big ones remain like this. There isn't too much overlap, and then that way it's also easier to read. And by read, I mean just look at it and understand it, not read, like words. Maybe we can drag this further out. There we go. You know what? We'll bring the edge, the end of it, a little bit higher up. That'll help with this. And then that way... What am I doing with the other ones? Because we also need them to come out up top there too. Okay, well we need them to come out of the back too. So we can start to curl them from here. This is a jacket. We'll leave that. Then, do I add another one? Maybe I should. I'll add like another one here, and that way it's still readable. Or at least it will be when I clear this up. right? Like, I feel like that's still very much understandable. It'll all be 1,000 more understandable with color. You're gonna have to suspend your disbelief, chat. I'll make one a bigger one instead of 2 smaller ones. So that way, we can do this side. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit. It's like if I see something, I have to fix it. It's not going to come down? Yeah, it is. There we go. We have this tail in front. Tentacle, not tail, sorry. And then, now I work on the actual tail. We'll close this line off. Like that should be mostly fur. Like, what if... I do want to keep the silhouette relatively the same as it is now. But I could add, like, another one like that. No. No. Or like this. No, that also doesn't work. What if we curl one that way? I mean, maybe. But I'm still not a fan. Like, if I did that, I feel like I'd have to go down here and then curve it underneath. I could do that with the tail. What if I rotated this tail? Instead I had the big fluffy tail come down like that. I don't know if that would work better. And then that way I can bring the tentacles a little bit further down. Maybe that is what we're going to do, chat. We're going to take this tail. We're going to grab it. We're going to warp it this way. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. It's now in 360. Oops. Okay. Forgive me as I break the rules of geometry. No. Stop it. Stop it. Stop being a weirdo. There we go. Like that instead, and then I have like tails, more tentacles down here. Let's erase it and see. Can always undo. Don't necessarily know if I like it better. I don't want to make it too long there, still want to be kind of a shorter cattail, and then that way you have tentacles coming down here. Does that necessarily work better? I don't know. Do I think? Now the question is, do I return it to the way it originally was? Or do I keep the tail up like that and the tentacles down here? Because I do still like the through line of having the tentacles there. It's something to follow. Decisions. Let me go on the coloring page. Erase this part. We'll add some color to the tail, that way we can see. Do we like this idea? Or does it get too difficult to read? Thinking I might like the original one better. Yeah, no, the tail being up too much I don't think is the way to do it. Never mind, let's put this back. Undo that. Or, there we go, it's like nothing ever happened. See, and now we know. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, but I can, oh god, that's on the wrong layer, there we go. Put this back to black, and then we'll continue drawing. So that way, I can go like this. Pick a big one there. But what I could do instead, it's like, I don't know if I want to have a small one here, but I could. No. A little tiny one there. Just a small one here. Small one at the end on the inside of the loop with the tail. That doesn't really take away from anything. We'll just make it knot, like a lot of twisting and knotting in the tentacles. The question is, do I want it? No. No, I don't. Stop asking Sheshire. Every time you just say no. And then that way I can get something that twists on top of them. And I can erase this part, okay. When going over, we can have smaller tentacles underneath it. Here, we'll push it a little bit further out, like that, so it lines up properly. Doesn't that make sense? I feel like that makes sense, right? The tentacles are all looping on top of each other. Now, I feel like I wanted to make it more twisty and knotty, but for that, I'll have to bring this further down behind the tail, right? I'll make this cleaner in a minute. Bring this further down behind the tail, and then I can stick this part a little bit further out, and that'll still make sense. I'm gonna have to erase the way it bends, but the tail is gonna loop around like this, I think. How are you guys doing? We're still checking in, making sure everybody's doing alright on Wednesday. And if it does look weird, let me know. You know, sometimes I draw the same thing 37 million times, and I only realize after looking at it the 7 billionth time that something's off. But any suggestions of that sort of thing, let me know as well. I am in fact a little bit delulu, so sometimes I miss these things. Okay, now. Keep going, keep going. Erase more of this. Or what if I bring the tentacle down here and I have this looping through the other one? So I erase this part. See, the thing about pretzel physics, basically, where everything's twisting on top of each other, is that technically there's no wrong way to do it, but it can kind of get confusing. Or difficult to follow, and I don't want that. A little one this way. Sticking out like that. No. We'll get rid of that. Erase this, just want to refine them. I feel like it's this big area here that's the issue, right? Where I'm circling. Because of the tail and everything being there, I feel like there is some confusion. So I don't even know, like, what if I crossed one of the tentacles over the tail? Would that be blasphemous? Would that be treachery? Does the cat tail and the tentacles need to be kept separately? Because I feel like it would make more sense with the knotting. And I could have, not like that, looping in front, but... Or, do we just have it like this? Or it's sticking out like that, and then that big one just loops directly behind the tail. It's messy right now, but we're figuring it out. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this, chat. I'm a little delulu, but with some faith, it'll work. So we're gonna erase this. We're gonna restore the tail. We're going to perform emergency surgery. Her tail has come back. Through divine intervention, it'll be okay. Hopefully. I was going to say, if you believe in a God, pray for me right now, because this is interesting. I'm going to erase that. Okay. Now the tail. Tentacle, not tail. I keep saying the same two things and confusing them. There we go, I can arch it like this. This one will hook underneath it, right? Everything else will be fine. That hook comes out here. The tentacle just flips under. Shade that part. And then I'll just have like another tentacle coming out this way. And we'll clean it up. Do I want the tentacle at the end with the tail? Maybe it'll help. Just sticking out a little bit, I can leave that one poking out of the tail just a tiny bit. Maybe we'll thicken it. We will thicken the tentacle. Words that I never thought I'd hear myself saying. Now then, we'll have this little swirl here. Erase that swirl. Make this one bigger. We'll make this one stick out a little bit further. You know, and I can still have like a big one here. But I will get rid of this little shadow here because I do want there to be kind of like an arch shape. Because if we look at it, let me turn on animation assist. Because if we look at this like this, sorry, let me get rid of that. And we look at this whole thing like a shape, this is essentially what this is doing, right? It's going like that. We're keeping this relatively like loop shape. The tails swirl like this. They swirl up and outwards, sort of, right? Like even that tail, everything kind of swerves out to here. And so, I want to get, because if I do this, right, if I add a tiny little piece like that, it then kind of just screws everything up because it starts going this way instead. I don't want to do that because I think the silhouette works right now. Okay. Just clean this up. I really want to clean up the lines as much as possible. I mean, I can do some of that off stream. I don't want to bore you guys with the line cleanup. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is maybe take out some of this color, just so I remember this is going to be tentacle. It's always weird to hear copyright music with lyrics in it. Like, I'm debating if I change this. 'Cause, I mean, it's okay, but it sounds weird. It always sounds really, really weird because the music, like, the words don't really mean anything. gonna leave this here for y'all. You know what? Copyright free. No, we're not doing the voices. Not today. No, thank you. No. We're gonna do some more jazzy. Okay. I feel like that works a little bit better. Last thing, I think is maybe that this isn't big enough to show like it's approaching. So we're gonna make this much bigger. Or by much, I mean just a little bit. I'm gonna arc it this way to show that it's... Yeah, okay. It's now the tentacle-y stuff up here. That's settled. Up top, we're gonna have... I think this I clearly defined, so that will have like a big swirly one there. Yeah, like a big swirly one here. Erase this. Come on. Okay, now then, do I have... Yeah, I'll have it arced like this. Erase that. That's the elbows and all that sort of thing, okay. So we'll have the tail, that's more, well, more tentacles this way. Sticking out like that. We'll have one coming out underneath it like this, hooping like that. I feel like that's what that line meant. I don't necessarily know what Past Me was thinking. He's a bit of an enigma. Carve out this little gap in between them. Right. Now then, I feel like it's only fair to follow that, and we'll add more tentacles behind her. Curve them like this, erase behind the hair. It's gonna get a little confusing for a second. That's okay. I'll smooth out these fingers too. Let me go back to here, this is bothering me. Make it way smaller. What if I make it tiny? And then that way it has the illusion of distance. A little bigger, and then make this way smaller. There we go. Way smaller, like it's moving away. Erase that. Why did I zoom out? Stay in the tab. Like that. Come on. Okay. Like if I enlarge this here, it'll look like it's coming closer. Anyway, there we go. Have, you know, like some tentacly stuff there. I don't know necessarily if that's what I had envisioned or if that was just supposed to be hair, but oh well. I don't know, do I have it scooped like this? Like one of those big tentacly bits like that? I'm not gonna spin it. I almost spun the canvas again. We're not gonna keep doing that. Or do I try and keep that distance? Okay. That next, and then I can have like some tentacles fly in the background, but I think this should be relatively bigger. At least the ones closer to the back, like they should be pretty big. Bigger than this at least. Way bigger than what I had done here. Okay. So we did that. Take a big chunk out, and we'll have it stick out like here. Or do we have them wrap around upwards? Decisions, because I can have it wrap this way, right? And then do you want to have it lead into another tentacle? Big one that comes behind the hair here. Loops around, another big one we can stick out this way. Erase this. See, like the weird thing about flow, like anything else, any kind of flow or movement, like water, the tentacles, anything like that, it's not going to make sense until it does, if that makes anything. Like Like, it's gonna look weird until you find a way that it moves and it looks logical. Especially because even something like this, there isn't really a reference where I can look to see, like, octopus falling from the sky. And if there is, I'm not looking that up because somebody's a sicko if they did that. Make this way bigger. One like this, right? And they're all kind of just pretzeling all over each other. This is all gonna have to be shaded anyways, so that's okay. Just add some gray to remember that. Or erase this bit. It's like a really big one. Trying to figure out what makes sense here. Or do I have like a relatively large one like that, sticking out this way, and then I have a big one that comes and rolls like this, right? I'm experimenting here. Or do I just stick it out like that? Erase the one behind it. I think it's okay, there's other ones over here too. There's stuff everywhere, I just trying to figure out if I want to add like little loops and stuff to break it up. I feel like the tentacles will be really repetitive or monotonous, like they'll get hard to read if I don't do something like little loops and stuff. Maybe I do a loop further down here. Instead of like this. Larger tentacle? Maybe the tentacle size is the issue. Let's try that now. Also, I swear to God, I had a driver updater on my laptop the other day, and now it does nothing but send me spam messages. It's like, I needed your service to update the computer, and that was it. I don't need you to keep sending me emails. Like, how is it legal that every time you use something, they just continuously send you emails for no reason. And I uncheck it. But it doesn't matter even if you unsubscribe, they'll keep sending you emails. Because they already sold your information. To like 17 other thousand companies or telemarketing sites. Because I know in places in Europe it's illegal. Right? Everything has to automatically be unchecked unless you want to get emails. That's the way it should be. Go under here. Underneath that. Have it going this way. Now do I have another one coming out like this? Or is that too many? I feel like I don't know if that's too many. Could have like a little loop here. No, I feel like that's too much. I think what we do instead, right, like we have all that crap here. We have the little tentacles up here, did all that, they come this way, they twist and pretzel up this way, and then we have, maybe behind there, just like a little small, tiny ones in the distance as they keep going, right? Maybe? Like little tiny tentacle stuff up here. Like, okay, that far out doesn't help. No, it should be maybe a little bit more tucked in, like we have some tentacle stuff over here. Can have it maybe like mirror the hair movement to accentuate it. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. I should stop. I should stop while I'm ahead. Can add like one big one. One big curve here. And then all behind this will be purple. That's it. We're not going to stand out more or add any other tiny little ones. That's just going to make life complicated for no reason. Okay. Feel like we can add, curve this a little bit more here. I don't know if we want to add maybe like a little curve or a little curl tentacle around here, around the leg. That'll be fine. Back leg there. That adds a little bit more swirl like what I was looking for earlier. I can put it a little bit higher up, that'll help. A little bit further up the leg, and I can draw the boots and that sort of a thing too. I think we might be ending soon for today. I have something to get to. There we go, that little tiny one there. That loops around the leg. There we go, and that keeps still in form and all the other shape and flow of the other tentacles, so it's okay. Alrighty. I think that's where we end it for today, unfortunately, but thank you so much everybody for stopping by. Hope you're doing well and hope you continue to have a good day. Let me see if there's anyone live that I can raid into. Okay, let's let's see. Come on. Yeah, we'll continue this another time, or I'll keep working on my own time, and then we'll have some more done, and we'll be doing something new either tomorrow or Friday, right? Let me see who's live. Anybody that I follow. Frame, no. You know what? I think Rosie is live. Let's jump over there. Rosie Belmu, or Kitsu is live. Kitsunero is live as well. You know, let's do Rosie. Why not? Or, you know what, let's raid into Kitsu. Why not? Kitsunero. Apparently the other one isn't working right now. Something's wrong with my Twitch. I think I've been raiding to Kitsu today. Let's do that. Alrighty, thank you so much everybody for coming by. My name is Sheshire, the Devil's Not So Funny Jester, and I will see y'all later. Bye.